Okay, I think this meeting is nominally just a meeting about updating regarding the feasibility study, but I think officially since both Travis and I are here, or
Yeah,
Excuse me, Trevor and I are
no
here. I was
worries.
talking to Travis the other, um, since Trevor and I are both here, we'll like officially open the Board of Oversight meeting for the South County Senior Center. Um, I don't anticipate there are any votes to be taken, but it was mostly a discussion and kind of updating for us.
Yep.
I'll turn that and then over to Jen, who's in the room, or I'm not sure exactly who to hand it to, but I'll hand it to Jen, and Jen will hand it to the appropriate person.
Sure. So I just wanted to update the town administrators about what the info I got. I reached out after the last Board of Oversight meeting where I was tasked with creating informational sessions to let the community members know of all three towns know where the priorities were with our high and middle needs and why the design team came up with 15,000 square feet. And in doing so, I reached out to the architecture firm who shared that it was not finalized as to where it would be going in Deerfield. I guess there's some discussion points on that. When I spoke with Christopher Dunn last week, it was the consensus that there was some uncertainty or not confirmed between the entire Deerfield Select Board, and it was either looking at the South Deerfield Congregational Church as it has been for the feasibility study, since we started this initiative, and then the other potential space would be the existing town hall footprint would be available once the town hall in Deerfield folks were to move into the 1888 building. And so I just, wanted everybody to be updated, whether it would be that existing structure with, information and reacting, I believe is what you shared, Christopher, about, what the feasibility design came up with for the Deerfield location, and then you would react to that is my understanding. So I just wanted everybody to be up to date. Because when we initially started off the feasibility study, the discussion was we would take the information from EDM Studio and determine if, it would be better to go in the South Deerfield campus plan or, one of the other two sites. And through community opinion on the open house, we got feedback that the Whately site was the other alternative because people did not want to drive to the Plum Tree Road site in Sunderland. So I just wanted to get an update from, from Deerfield, if there's changes or what's going on. So everybody's just on the same page. So Christopher Dunn, if you want to take over that talking point, or Trevor, I don't know which one would be preferred, but that'd be great.
Sure, and Trevor, I'm happy to speak to it.
Good.
Yeah, so I had a conversation with Chris Wanty from EDM Studio. I think just to rewind a little, obviously in the middle of this process, we had a special town meeting on October 7th. And at that meeting, our 1888 building project, that is the sort of brick building at the corner of Conway and North Main on our municipal campus, that project advanced. So it has now CPC funding. It also has federal funding, so it's in a good place to advance to construction next year. So that kind of opened up the possibility of, using the current town hall space, whether that's, a new build or retrofit of that space. And so I think, what we wanted to look at, and this is the conversation I had with Chris Wanty, was, is there something we can do in that area that supplements or augments what we're looking to do at the church? There's high and medium priority programming list. There's 15,000 square feet. What if we look at doing some of the high priority items in a space at what I'll just refer to as 8 Conway Street, and then look at some of those medium priority programming ideas at the church as needed. So he's going to take a look at something like that. But in general, I would just say, this was an option that wasn't really necessarily on the table previously, and now we're thinking, okay, given where the 1888 building project is, we should really be considering this option while we have the opportunity. And Trevor, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but that was the conversation I had with Chris Wanty.
Yeah, I guess I would just say regardless of which location it is, I think somewhere on that campus we wanted, I think the idea was to keep apples to apples, and we were looking at either a large remodel build in Whately or a large remodel build in Deerfield. And depending on, I guess Deerfield's um deficits for the probability of it going to Deerfield is like the church building and how long is that going to hold up everything. So in my mind, I think whether we take down the church and rebuild a building that would suit our needs, or we take down the town hall and build a building that suit our needs, I think the numbers would be fairly similar. I would leave it up to EDM to kind of weigh in on that, but I guess in the end, I think it's important to kind of look at, to be fair to Whately, to be fair to Deerfield, give us a number on either of those. But it looks like the Deerfield Town Hall space is going to open up faster and would have a lot less people, concerned of taking it down versus the church. So I just wasn't sure if it mattered to EDM that much which location they used, as long as it was a spot on the campus there. I just, to be fair to Whately, we should show, we kind of came up with, we should show what a new build in both locations would be, because we can't really do anything. We can't meet our needs with the church without doing a takedown and a rebuild or an addition off the back of it. But we might be able to, meet our needs doing a takedown and rebuild or a reuse of the town hall and a reuse of the church. I know Jennifer wants to have it all in one building, but I just think somewhere on that property we could fit our needs. And I want to be fair to Whately, and we should be somewhat apples to apples, and just if they need to price taking down the church and giving us a new building, fine, or taking down the town hall. I don't know if it matters to them which building they use. I think the town hall would move a lot faster.
So just listening to what Christopher shared, splitting it up into two spaces is not feasible. That's a big issue that we've been facing since we've been in multiple locations. Yes, we have 3 full-time staff, but you're also looking at a transportation program. So when that driver is out, because we currently use one of our full-time staff for that, we now are down to 2. If somebody is out sick or something happens unforeseen, we now have to find coverage. It's not feasible to have it in multiple locations. That's the whole idea of getting everything into one space. And if you're going to split EDM into doing it, and regardless of where it goes on the campus, if we look at the full priority of the 15,000 square feet, even if it gets knocked down to 10 or 12,000 square feet, it's for whatever reason, I don't agree with splitting it up into 2 spaces, because it's not feasible for what we're looking for and what we need. And that was the whole purpose of this grant that should have been done 2 years ago.
Could I ask a quick question in there? Maybe Chris or Trevor knows. How many square feet is the footprint of the current town hall, the 8 Conway?
Yeah, it's roughly 12,000 square feet, and it doesn't include, that's not including the police building, which is connected, but is a separate structure.
Oh, okay. So I tend to agree with Jennifer about it should be one place, and if it's but I also feel like this feasibility study is a real opportunity for us to get. I really want sort of the best location that can be offered in the Deerfield campus to be studied. And if you can talk EDM into doing that at the town hall for the 8 Conway location, and you think that will be the best place for it, if it's 12,000 square feet, then and you could new build and keep within that.
Mhm.
A portion of it could be 2 stories, to get yourself the 15,000 square feet. Um, or it could be, keep it all on one level, if you have space there. I mean, I really think we ought to be looking at the best option you have for the campus, but I think the things that Jennifer brings up are going to be the same thing that people will bring up when it's time to make, if we're in the end deciding between these two sites, that's
Yep.
going to be a real strike against the site in the Deerfield campus. So that, it's just, my thoughts. Chris, did it sound like EDM was willing to kind of swap the sites? Even, they'd put some work into looking at that church site. They might need to make another trip out to take a look at what's existing at the current Deerfield Town Hall site. Did it seem like they were going to be willing to do that and not charge us lots more money?
No, yeah. Chris said to Trevor's point, they're happy to. They're kind of agnostic about which space on the campus it is. And what they were interested in doing is showing some kind of new build at that site in the
Mhm.
footprint of that, the existing town hall, 8 Conway Street. And I think, certainly Chris expressed similar, concerns that Jennifer has about, having multiple spaces. I will say we all kind of get along with multiple spaces. I know Greg Snedeker and I were just over at the library this morning, and I was at the DPW last
Yeah.
week. But it is certainly difficult when you're programming, for seniors. So I
Yeah, but y'all,
appreciate
y'all don't have trouble with stairs.
yeah, that too, right?
So, I mean,
So,
it seems like that's the best apples to apples comparison is
mhm.
maybe a new build at that site. Um, and I mean, and you can talk to them about whether it'd be better to build up and stay within the 12,000, or build up and, even make the footprint smaller so you have extra parking, or like
Mhm.
what's the best use of that property? That's sort of not for the Board of Oversight to decide. But
Right.
I want us to have, um, I don't want us to end this process with, people feeling like we didn't get the best possible option studied.
Yeah.
And we like, if we end it with this, like, well, we studied these two things, but they're not the best ones we could come up with. There's this other thing, and we're gonna have to study that instead.
Yeah.
I don't want that. So
Right.
I think if they'll do it, I would not be out there complaining to anybody about, oh, Deerfield switched this thing, or that's not, that's not really, in in anybody's interest, honestly.
Yeah. And I
Does
think
And
that
also,
make sense as I mean, Trevor, what do you think?
I agree with you. I think the Deerfield Town Hall, now that we've had our vote and that's moving forward, really opens up the most viable location for a senior center with enough square footage to get something done, without the headache of trying to convince everybody to take down the church. Because I just, in the end, my heart says that we're not going to get enough square footage out of that church.
And there's less green space
Yep.
too.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. So if they'll do it, I think that's the way to go.
Well, I feel like there's not really something for our board to vote
Right.
on.
Yeah, it's up to EDM, and if they're good with it, I think we're good.
But I think I might have cut off Jen there, sorry.
Oh,
okay, I'd had my hand up, but I just wanted to share, I mean, Chris, I get different departments are in different buildings, but we're one department, so that's why we want to be in one building in one location. The library, you're not segregating the library, it's being built in one location. The DPW's main area is in one location, but they're also transportation in other places, so they have a garage, etc. You're not making the town clerk's office go other places, we're trying to meet the needs of our community. We've got, almost 500 new members or 500 members, and there's over 3,000 in our 3 towns. So it's really hard for us to have it in the 3 towns the way that we're currently facilitating programs as it is, and we get complaints from the seniors all the time because they're now unsure what site it's at, you know, and they're confused, and so we're trying to make it easier, not more difficult. So I just hope you know, that's where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah. Yeah, completely appreciate it. I'll always come to these issues. You'll come to these issues with a senior center perspective. I come with a community development perspective, which is, hey, we've got a bunch of buildings, let's make use of them.
Right.
So, and just to, you know, keeping the taxpayers in mind, and the fact that, you know, we've already got, you know, a library project, we've already got a wastewater treatment plant project, and just keeping those dollars in mind. But I totally respect that you're looking out for the programming and the seniors, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, because the biggest complaint is the community of seniors in our 3 towns feels left behind because they have not been put first in over 25 years. And going back to when the DBW project was done, you know, it was supposed to be purchased and gone forward to put senior housing and a senior center in there. So the community is very angry. And, you know, I get a lot of that input and feedback from the community, and it's a cost amongst the 3 towns, so it's not all of a burden solely by Deerfield. And
Jen,
you know,
it's also up to the community to come and ask for this, right? So
Mm.
needs come before other things, and if you know we, like I said a million times, the seniors need to come to the meetings, write letters, and demand that this happen. It's you know, it's one thing that they complain about, it's another thing to write a check for it. So they need to communicate all 3 communities have to come together and demand this as a priority for a 15,000 square foot senior center. That's
well, we're
a
working on that behind the scenes, and you know, but
necessity.
I'm advocating and bringing forward one location is the priority.
Yep, I hear you.
Okay, is there anything that you would like to add, Chris, or Pete hasn't had anything to say? Either of you like to pipe in on anything there?
I don't really have any additional comment other than if EDM is okay with switching the evaluation to the town hall property within that campus. I think either one makes sense. It sounds like it would make more sense with the town hall replacement, but yeah, no real comment otherwise.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the ball is in the court of those who are in charge of EDM Studios, and I appreciate though having the conversation. So you know, so that when I would find out later from EDM that it switched the site, I'm hearing about it from you all first, and not hearing it, you know, at an open meeting where I was expecting something else.
Yeah.
Then I guess we probably need to officially adjourn our Board of Oversight meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that. All those in favor, Trevor,
Over McDaniel, aye.
Joyce, aye. Okay, that official part's done. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
I've
you.
got to go off to another meeting.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
Thanks all.